Hello and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is February 27th. I want to begin today by simply congratulating you for making it this far into the year of a daily Bible reading commitment. You have already made 8 weeks into this year. Lots of weeks still left to go, admittedly, but a very strong start. We've already reached the initial goals that have been set for our group. And now we plod on with new goals, with better and better understanding of God's Word all the way through. I hope that you'll continue to stay with me, that you'll continue to be a lamplighter, remembering that His Word is that lamp to our feet and that light to our path that we need for guidance every day. Let's encourage each other and keep each other strong along the way so that we can all meet this goal together. As we begin our reading today, we are still working our way through the law that God gave Moses to communicate to the people. What we see today is the uniqueness of this theocracy. We've talked about this several times before, but again, this is not a democracy that God is establishing. It is a theocracy, meaning that God is the only supreme ruler of these people, that God is the rule maker and the rule keeper. He is the one who gives the law. He is the one who enforces that law, and he is the one who gives the rewards to those who are faithful. Now, in this theocracy, God determines the laws as well as gives the people direction politically, militarily, economically, in every way possible. God is leading these people. Imagine that, to have God that much a part of everyday life and everyday experiences. By the way, that's the role that God still wants to play with us today. We may live in the United States of America, we may live in a democratic system, a democracy, but God still wants to be your supreme ruler and mine. He still wants to be our only Lord, our only King. He still wants us to give him our true and our full allegiance. Now, with God being in charge of or leading this theocracy, he has Moses as his right-hand man, so to speak, among the people. Moses has served as a prophet, teaching the ways of God. He has served as a priest, interceding to God on behalf of the people, and he is even serving as a lawgiver, litigating and judging matters of the law. Not only that, but after Moses, there are also people like Aaron and his son Eleazar, who are the religious leaders of the people. There is a council of 70 elders that have been appointed to help Moses judge difficult cases. There is patriarchal leadership within the tribes. Each tribe has its own leaders within its own clans and families. And yet, even with all of this organization and with all of this leadership, God knows that the people will ultimately want to be like nations around them and have a king. Long before the people ever ask for a king, which is coming, by the way, God gives them some instructions about a government ruled by a king. He tells them that there are going to be some specific restrictions on that king and on his people, that God is going to be the one who chooses that king, and that king must be an Israelite, no foreigner. He is to have not many horses and not go to places like Egypt, for example, to acquire horses for himself, because God never wants his people to go back to Egypt again. He is not to have many wives. He is not to have large amounts of silver and gold. And you have to ask the question, why? Because God doesn't want this king to rely upon himself. He doesn't want the people to rely upon this king because of his great wealth or his many wives. And by the way, isn't that the mistake that much later Solomon will make, the son of David? He's going to have great wealth. He's going to have many wives and many horses. All of these things that God had said, let's not do that. It's going to cause a problem. When this king is established, God is setting the rules in place. He says proper respect must be given to this king and to anyone who leads the people. And then a judicial system is put into place, and it'll sound very familiar to us when we read these words, because much of the judicial system established in the Old Testament is that upon which our judicial system today has been built, that upon which our judicial system has been based. This judicial system is established. There are judges. There are courts for appeal. There is contempt of court for those who do not obey what the judges say. There is to be fair judgment. No bribes are allowed. No partiality is to be shown. When a person has committed a crime, he is to get a just punishment. In this case, eye for eye, which is intended to be a deterrent to crime. There must be 2 or more witnesses. No one is going to be punished on the basis of just one person's testimony, because that person might just have a grievance, might just have some kind of grudge that they're holding. There must be 2 or more witnesses, and everyone takes personal responsibility for his own sin. There is no finger pointing. It's not someone else's fault. A child can't say, I'm this way because of my father, or a father can't say, well, it was my children. Everyone is responsible for his own life. And those within this community are to be punished at times with certain lashes, but never to be lashed more than 40 times. That's going to be a key role, a key thing to remember as we work our way even into the New Testament, that the Jews are allowed to have 40 lashes minus 1, never more than 40. And why is the reason for that? God says when it gets beyond that, it becomes degrading to the person. So he still preserves a person's dignity even when they're being punished for a crime that has been committed. There is to be no overnight hanging of a person upon a wooden tree or upon a cross. That will be a curse. You're going to see that mentioned around the time of the crucifixion of Christ as well. It's interesting to me that all of these laws, though they are so old historically, are really the basis of what still exists today. God really knows what he's doing. He still wants to rule and to govern his people. And he's still today looking for a people who will follow his governance and his governance alone. The question is, are we a part of that people? Do we trust him with our lives? Do we read his word and understand that he does have our best interests at heart? Are we willing to give him our loyalty, our allegiance, our devotion, our entire selves? That's why the greatest command that Jesus will later say is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And he says the second command is very similar. Love your neighbor as yourself. There it is again. Love God, love people. It's the formula for righteous living. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.